Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Welcome in. It's the End of the Bench. I am Rob Breaux alongside David Collier, the Wizard. Also Lucas White looking fresh.
Oh, yeah.
With the cut.
It's not quite Joe Burrow bleached blonde, but...
No, but I think that haircut with the little color in there would be good for a tiny wheel.
Yeah.
We'll spin the tiny wheel today if we can confirm some punishments with our friend Bullfighter. He did lose. I feel bad for him. I had a terrible week. Tied him. But he had to go first on the Jerry Jones sweepstakes, and we had discussed earlier in the show that there was a deadline on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then he picked Saturday, and I felt bad for him. We should have given him another shot there. But I don't feel real bad for him because we gave him the free space of Notre Dame.
Yes.
Because he picked that after the game, and he was like,
a big Notre Dame fan. I got this guy.
My friend likes Notre Dame, so I've been cheering for him.
I watched Rudy that one time. It was a great flick.
I just realized Vince Vaughn was in it. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Yeah, so I don't feel too bad for him.
Nah, I don't really feel bad for him either.
I don't think he would feel bad for us if we lost. So.
No, I don't think he would. But I will say the punishment will probably be easier than flapping his wings for 3 hours.
I was going to say, everything's gravy from this point on with him. I can't imagine anything. Well, there probably is something worse, but we wouldn't put him through that, I don't think.
There was a basketball game last night. In fact, there were 2 basketball games last night. We'll start chronologically. The Lady Raiders losing to Iowa State. Win the first quarter. Give some ground in the second quarter, but a 3-point game at halftime. And then it was the Audi Crook show in the third quarter. Addie Brown knocked in some buckets. But the Lady Raiders will be part of a history and trivia question for the rest of time. Who ended, or in which game did Iowa State's 30-year 3-point streak end? And that is against Texas Tech. They did not make a 3-pointer last night. They were 0 for 7. They still scored 71 points, 50 in the paint. Audi Crooks with 28 points. And it looked like she was just practicing at times.
Yeah. I mean, when they got in foul trouble, especially late in that game, it was...
She does that against a lot of teams.
Yes.
It's kind of her game. But I think the Lady Raiders have been good offensively in games. I think they've been good defensively in games. But they've not really put it together this year, especially in conference play. Maybe in that Houston game. They've also had games with Jasmine Shavers playing well offensively. They've had games of Bailey Maupin playing well offensively. But I don't know that they've had a game with both of them
playing
rarely. Well offensively, especially in conference play.
Yeah, 19 for 59 from the field. You get that offensive production from Logan Johnson, but I'm pretty sure she scored 10 of her 12 in the first half.
She did.
So absolutely nothing in the second half, and Bailey Maupin was just off, and she was in foul trouble. She got that. It did turn out to be a technical foul in the second quarter, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, she finishes with 5 points, and if you're only getting 5 points from Bailey Maupin, you're probably losing most basketball games.
Yeah, and Bailey Maupin's been interesting lately. It's like she scores 25 or 3.
Yeah.
And if she could unlock some consistency here, and the team needs to unlock some consistency, it's almost frustrating. It's frustrating to lose 1 out of 5 or 5 out of 1, 5 out of 6. I'll get there. Hold on. It's frustrating to lose 5 of your first 6 Big 12 games, yes. But I think it's more frustrating to see talent on individual nights that just has not come together as a team yet. We'll talk more about that one as we move along. The Texas Tech Red Raiders beat Kansas State last night. Get off to a fantastic start. Kansas State kind of sticks around. It's never good when you let a bad team stick around, and they are a bad team.
Yeah.
They go on an 11-run kill shot run at the end of the first half. They take a lead at halftime. And then you kind of just survive for the first 10 minutes of the second half. And then Kansas State, really generous with their time and effort there at the final 8 minutes of the game. They scored 2 points in the final 8 minutes. You scored 6. In the last eight minutes of game action, there were 8 points scored.
Yeah, well, you wanted good defense. You got that. Just go back to what you were just talking about the Lady Raiders.
I don't know if
you're not having one and the other at the same time. You had really.
Is that good defense?
Sure. If you look at the box score, it was great defense, right?
The left elbow in the second half on Texas Tech's end of the court played great defense across the stretch. So slipping and sliding there in the same spot 3 trips in a row.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's get the mops out there, student athletes there, or whoever they are. Student manager,
yeah.
Let's get the you're wearing your white T-shirt. I see you have the mop. Did you spray some Pam on there before you went out and wiped it around on the Texas Tech side of the court?
Speaking of which, tangent real quick. I went to 2 NBA games in the last month. And I don't know why we have 5 million student managers, and this is one of the things that I noticed at an NBA game, so you might know where my focus is. Anytime there's a free throw and the teams go to the other end, there's a tandem of 2 mop boys.
Yeah.
And they go down the line to the free throw, and in Oklahoma City they would just reverse, but they do that every single time, and you got like one kid just like randomly. Why can't we have that at
it's
the
like a spot? It's like a spot clean that they do in the collegiate games.
Yeah, and I'm like, why don't they do the same thing at the? Because there's 75 people on a college basketball staff and with managers and everything. Now we can't get one other guy with a mop to clean up the lane, and obviously you're not going to go clean up where that was going on over by the.
Yeah, there's no students.
There weren't any students there.
There's no students that would apply for the job.
Yeah, you would think there'd be a manager.
It's minimal training, right?
Yeah.
Walk in a zigzag, like a Zamboni.
Yeah.
Were you ever a mop boy?
No.
Did you ever mop boy, Lucas?
No.
He was always on the court playing, dog.
I mopped Boyd one time for the NAIA National Championship tournament or the junior college.
That was up at the JUCO Region 6 tournament. Yeah.
I was like in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm. How'd it go?
With the Robinson boys. The
Robinson boys?
Yeah, it was fine. Carson did most of it. I don't know. Maybe I was just down there. I don't remember. That was a long, long time ago.
We had like the spirit thing when I was in college, and you made signs and stuff, and you got to be down on the floor. So I would always go to the thing, and I would be like standing around while all the people were making signs, just so I could walk right in and go straight down to the court. No mop though.
100.7 the score. It's the end of the bench. More Texas Tech basketball talk after this. Maybe a little more mop boy talk as well.
No.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 the score.
100.7 the score. It's the end of the bench. We're the first China Bank studio. Again, you can join us on the Visual Edge IT hotline at 806-771-0973. All right, so since it is a listener spinning the tiny wheel today, I think we should have some listener submissions for Bullfighter spinning the tiny wheel. So if you're listening out there, you want to chime in on the chat line, 100.7 the score app, brought to you by Happy State Bank. If you're not on there, You can chime in, or you can call in and give a submission to Lucas or on air. Again, that's the Visual Edge IT hotline at 806-771-0973. I think right now he's got, what was it? He has a Ric Flair costume? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he's willing to wear that to a baseball game. He also said he's willing to wear pretty much anything to a sporting event for basketball or baseball or softball or whatever. And then he did say he is okay with just about anything, just nothing to do with the Houston Astros.
So we got to have at least one Houston Astro on the wheel. That's what makes it a fun wheel. So we'll take at least 5 submissions, but as many as we can. But did we already get one?
Yes, it's a reoccurring one that's just comical from.
It's Justin.
Yeah,
oh.
just a taser.
He does love the taser.
Yeah, because Clint said he would do it. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right, let's do the. If it was one of those small handheld like poke tasers,
yeah,
I might be okay with it. Certainly not doing one of the guns.
No. Yeah, I don't think I could. Yeah.
Would you, if it was for content, would you rather take a taser or pepper spray?
Oh man, I would probably say taser.
I would say taser, just out of those two.
I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that it's time to check the calendar.
Your daily look at what's happening in the world of sports, birthdays, and holidays. Let's check the calendar.
It is January. You all right? No,
I'm not.
You need a back pat? It's no.
No, that would be a no.
No, is that a no?
Yeah.
All right. It is January 15th, 2025. And it is Museum Selfie Day. Collier, 2 questions. When's the last time you took a selfie? And when's the last time you went to a museum?
Last time I went to a museum. Ooh. I honestly could not tell you the last time I went to a museum. I mean, I know I went to some when I was in D.C.
Okay.
I don't think I've been to the one at Tech. I don't think does the Ranching Heritage Center count as a museum?
I think that's pretty close.
How about the windmill place? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago then.
Did you take a selfie?
I did not take a selfie at the, I was working. So I was getting video of other people.
My last selfie was November 1st, 2024. Lucas, when was your last selfie?
Let's go.
My last selfie, yesterday.
Okay.
I always take one when I get a haircut.
Oh, I will say that's, I probably would too.
Well, so I took a selfie, but I also had the rest of my family in it. Does that count?
Yeah, if you're taking it.
Okay, so when we were in San Antonio to watch the Spurs and the Nuggets 2 weekends ago at the Riverwalk. Last selfie.
Nice. All right, the rest of these, it's National Bagel Day, National Hat Day, National Booch Day, kombucha.
Never had it.
It is National Fresh Squeezed Juice Day. You ever had that?
Yes, I as a small child, I drank so much orange juice I had to stop drinking it because I guess too much.
Burning a hole in your stomach or something?
Yeah, I get there was. No, I broke out in hives or something like that.
Wow.
The doctor was like, "You got moderation." But
what's your favorite fresh squeezed juice?
Orange juice.
Orange juice.
Yeah.
Okay. It's National Pothole Day. Be aware. National Strawberry Ice Cream Day.
What's wrong with what was the face for? Strawberry ice cream is great.
Just the whole I can live without ice cream.
Ah, okay.
bit.
That's right.
I like strawberry ice cream. I like chocolate ice cream. I like vanilla ice cream. I don't like them together. I don't like the Neapolitan.
You don't like that, yeah. I'm not a big shocker here. Chocolate ice cream guy. Don't need it. I will eat Neapolitan though. That's the only time I probably would prefer to have chocolate. Well, because I have the other two options.
Sure.
With it, you know?
It's also Wikipedia Day. So if you go to Wikipedia, they're probably trying to get money from you.
Yeah, more often than not, but it's an easy. I mean, I went there to look for the Dodgers information. Might not have been right, but.
Did you pay for it?
I did not pay for it.
Have you ever donated to Wikipedia?
I have not.
Me neither.
Okay, I was about to say, I thought you were going to shame me there for a second.
Neither have I. I never will. All right, any birthdays?
Martin Luther King Jr. celebrating a birthday today, and he will be recognized for it. Well, he's not celebrating, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People are celebrating his birthday, and they will recognize him on Monday, as they do every year. Let's see, Pitbull. How old do you think Pitbull is?
52.
Lucas?
Feels higher.
55.
Man, I'm going to have to double check here because you guys are way off.
60?
Nope.
40?
42?
47?
44.
What?
Yeah. I'm double checking now. Yeah, 44 years old, Pitbull.
Is that on Wikipedia?
No, it's just the old Google. Lloyd Bridges would have celebrated a birthday today. Know who Lloyd Bridges is? Naked Gun. Or not Naked Gun. Yeah, he was in No, I'm sorry, Airplane. You know the whole bit where the guy said, picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue?
Yeah.
That's Lloyd Bridges.
Okay.
Yeah. Joseph Plunk, Texas Tech Red Raiders, celebrating a birthday today.
Shout out Tascosa.
He'll be a coach in the very near future, right? Coach's kid. Seems like we always got him basically coaching everybody anytime they brought up his name. Other athletes celebrating a birthday today, Drew Brees. Any idea?
48. Oh, that's too old, I think.
51.
46 years old. Yeah. I like that you think Drew Brees is older than me, though. I appreciate that. How about Deebo Samuel?
29.
Don't even bother. Got her on the dot. Look at that. That's a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan. How old is Randy White? No, he's a little old for you, but
Randy White is 70. Well, let's just go 74. Wasn't that his number? No, he was 54.
Lucas has no idea.
74, 54?
Somewhere in the 70s.
72 years old.
Yeah.
Thought you were going to get back-to-back. That would have been impressive.
I almost said 72. That would have been awesome.
Josh Holiday, everybody's favorite Holiday.
What's Randy White's number?
45 years old for the Oklahoma State, I think, assistant coach still.
Yeah, 54.
Delino DeShields, the old one, 56 years old.
Shout out Delino.
Yeah. Mitch Garver, former Rangers catcher, 34 years old.
Shout out Mitch. World Series champion Mitch Garver.
Exactly. I don't know that I have any more. You know, it's funny. I always forget to do the Facebook search, and inevitably when I don't, there's always somebody with Texas Tech ties that I skip over. Not today, though. Shout out to my one of my friends from high school, Mike Meppelink, though.
Shout out.
Celebrating a birthday today. Led the state in batting average at one point because he would get catcher interferences constantly because he would hit the catcher's bat over and over again. Yeah.
Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back, 100.7 The Score. It is the End of the Bench. This is the first text we got today. Hey, we got a Big 12 road win last night. Texter has just responded, third in a row in road wins. Yeah, you're 3-2 in the Big 12. If you told me you were 3-2 in the Big 12, I would have said, well, yeah, you probably get Utah. This is preseason.
Yeah.
You get Utah, you probably lose in Manhattan, you lose at BYU, and then you've won your 2 home games.
Yeah.
Or maybe you lose to Iowa State and win one of those others. But no, it's 3 road wins and 2 home losses.
And if you've been following along with Big Ten Rob, he is guaranteed. Sorry, I don't know. That just He is guaranteed that the Red Raiders are going to rattle off 5 straight wins. You willing to stick to that?
Doubling down, tripling down.
Did you happen to see what Arizona did last night?
I did.
Did you see the halftime
As
score
I told you in the
against
break,
the
I
Baylor Bears?
was awake for
I know.
for after Big 12 After Dark.
Yeah. So, what was it, 42-19? They led Baylor at the half. They went on to win by like 11 or something like that. And you're still willing to stick to your guns there?
Not only willing, able, and I've pulled the trigger. I tweeted last night after the game. By the way, that was the first of 5 straight wins in the Big 12 for Texas Tech. I think to win in that manner, in that fashion, I think shows a lot of grit. I don't think you're going to lose all your home games. I think you're due, if you believe in the due theory, and I do.
I certainly hope you don't lose all your home games with Oklahoma State coming up.
That was very bad. Yeah, and TCU and the likes. I think you have an opportunity here. I really do. In Arizona, I think when I said that last week, that they won 2 more Big 12 games since. Maybe a little more nervous for that game. But I said last week, I said if you can get past Kansas State, you have a real opportunity to get 7 or 8 in a row. You didn't get past Iowa State, but I still think these 5 games in a row are winnable. Will they all be blowouts? No. I think there's going to be some tough-fought games in here. I think you'll be favored again. You're favored by, I think it closed at 3 against Iowa State. They're number 2 in the country now. Could be favored by 5 against Arizona. I think they're playing their best basketball, but I think Texas Tech is too.
Yeah, you look at their losses.
Well, it wasn't last night, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah, well, hey.
You won
win ugly.
night,
I was about to say, win ugly. That was their first, what was it, their first win this season in games decided by 4 or less points. And you made the shot at the end, which is very helpful there at the end.
You did.
Because they certainly had plenty of opportunities in that final 17 seconds. At least it seemed like it anyway.
Yeah, so this is a show in Lubbock, Texas, and we generally focus on Texas Tech. But can we just spend 2 or 3 minutes on Kansas State real quick? I don't know, about a month ago, as you're kind of dipping your toe into basketball season, they'd lost a couple of games, Kansas State did. And a Kansas State fan shared a clip, which I never got the context for. But it was Jerome Tang talking about the second year of a coach in a new contract after an extension. That's when you want to get fired. So, and he switched from that's what a coach could do, should do. If I did that, I would go build orphanages with my wife with the buyout money. That's what he said. Some of the decisions he made last night, and I'm not a coach. I don't consider myself a basketball tactician. It's probably the sport I understand the least of the sports we talk about often. Now, I know what's going on. I understand some nuance, but I've never coached basketball. Not that I've coached beyond some very limited football coaching. But,
yeah.
It did not make sense to me what was going on with those rotations, with some of the adjustments that were never made. And it seemed like their best players were not on the floor in the last 5 minutes, and they just did not score in those 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I wasn't probably watching as intently as you were, just given the time frame. I was working on shows and whatnot. But Gasson, right?
Yeah.
He certainly had his way for a stretch there early on whenever they went on that 11-0 run, right? Was there that an 11-0 run towards the end of the first half? So I've got so many runs.
Into halftime.
I got Iowa State 14-0 run in my head. I've got all these.
Yeah, it was
runs.
Kansas State to close the first half. 11-0.
But him and Hausen, I mean, you know what you're getting with Hausen. He's going to jack up some threes and hopefully make them, and he did during that run. But, yeah, Gasson seemed like somebody that was causing problems, and that could be adjustments that Texas Tech made. I mean, they certainly know how to do that themselves, but he seemed like a guy that you wanted to get the ball a little bit more.
Well, and Coleman Hawkins was taking Darian Williams to school in the paint. Then the worst thing that happened to Kansas State in the game was him making 2 straight threes. Because he just tried to play point center after that, and is 30 feet away from the basket, and he made a deep one. The next trip down the floor, he took a shot, falling into the crowd, fadeaway 3, heat check. It's like that is not your game.
Yeah.
He seems like a very selfish player. Trying to get his stats. Didn't really help in the flow of the game. And he had some really bad turnovers late. And Max Jones, I thought, had a really good stretch in the game. Was not on the floor in crunch time. For a large stretch in the second half when Texas Tech came back and rebuilt their lead, every trip down the floor they would just switch to Brendan Hausen and score on him.
Yeah, and that's where late in the game they kept...
And they took him off the floor, and there was some good, better defense played. But I mean, they had the freshman Castillo out there in the final minutes, and he was not doing well. There seems to be something going on with Tang and Doug McDaniel that he just doesn't trust him.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the one game where God told him to start him, and he had a great game, and then hasn't been playing much since. I don't know. It seems like Tang is lost.
Yeah. Roy Hibbert spent most of his time during the halftime and postgame talking about people that should be playing more and better for Kansas State as well. So you're not alone in that assessment. Well, thankfully they didn't, though.
Thankfully they didn't. And it was, again, 8 minutes of game time where Texas Tech scored 6 points in the final 8 minutes and Kansas State scored 2. Just incredible.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back, 100.7 The Score. It's the End of the Bench. Have you guys been paying attention to Bryce Harper on social media lately?
Yeah. I thought it was a fake account, some guy that looked just like him.
Have you seen this, Lucas?
I have.
So he's on TikTok and Instagram just posting daily videos, but it's like just him making like raw milk lattes and
made banana bread.
He did. The banana bread looked good though.
Well, other than the fact that it looked like the peel was in the bread.
He cut I'd never seen that. He cut a banana in half and put it on top and baked it.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw the beginning of it. I'm like, I'm not watching him make banana bread.
But he's like using raw coconut sugar and raw goat's cheese, and
I saw him making like an espresso or some kind of latte or something. I don't remember what, but I was listening. I had to turn the audio up because I genuinely didn't think it was really him.
And he looks absolutely blazed.
Yes.
In every video.
Yeah.
But he's like talking about all this holistic stuff, so I don't know. Did you see the guy, the football player after the playoff game? I forget who it was. But took a picture of a joint and posted it. It was like, God, it's been a long 3.5 months. Welcome back.
That was the DJ Chark for the Chargers.
Yes. It was the Chargers wide receiver. It's like, it's been a long 3.5 months. Welcome back, old friend.
Wow.
All right, Lucas, let's do some birdie questions.
2 minutes of non-stop in-your-face inquiries with no end in sight. It's time for Burning Questions.
Start right there. If you had to, like, if this was a tiny wheel punishment, if you had to post a daily, like, video on TikTok, which won't be around by the end of the weekend, supposedly, what would your content be? Like, it couldn't be sports related. It had to be something completely different. But if you were doing something along the lines of Bryce Harper filling time.
Yeah, I might be a coffee guy. Make my daily coffee on there. People seem to like. I could get into the pour over and all that stuff and be a coffee guy on the internet. If it had to be not sports.
Is that worth the tiny wheel punishment of you having to do that to get a certain amount of likes before you have to stop type deal?
Those fantasy football punishments are pretty funny.
Yeah.
I would see. I'm out on the dancing.
Yeah.
Have you seen the wolf one? There's
no
people out there that act like wolves. And,
humans?
Yeah. And there's a trend where fantasy football losers are having to do social media trends, and you have to get 10,000 likes or whatever before you can stop doing it. And there's a guy out there that has to act like a wolf every day. And it's as the kids say, cringe.
Yeah.
It's tough to watch. What would you
be better at fantasy football? Yeah. What do you got, Lucas?
Probably like the outfit of the day. Probably show my sneaker collection, and then pair it with a hoodie or a nice vintage shirt that I have, and then like jeans or khakis, or just kind of go that route.
Get some jewelry worked in.
Get a hat.
I couldn't.
There's an Irish guy that does a 3-piece suit every day.
It probably would be a really good punishment for me because I hate those videos on all social medias where hey, follow me along as I go do my work for the day. One of those things.
Oh. Yeah. I would like to see you kicking up your feet. Adidas.
Yeah. Hey, check out these Adidas. The same exact Adidas that I wore yesterday, y'all. It's amazing. Gonna put on my black Under Armour jacket.
Yes, this is just the same thing every day.
I should. Well, it'd be a different shirt.
Here's my generic gray hoodie.
Yeah, here's my gray hoodie. Hey, how you like my polo? It's a blue one today with some stripes on the top.
I've got 4 pairs of the exact same jeans I have in rotation.
This shirt that I'm wearing, just to tell you how old it is, another sports director in town, we wore this same exact shirt to a press conference one time. And I have not that I see this individual on a regular basis, but he never wore it again. So I won. I beat him, if you will.
So that's your trophy?
That's my trophy, I guess. I wear the same shirts. I actually would be funny if I did that anchoring wise. I'm wearing a white shirt again today. Got this blue blazer. It would be the same video over and over again, but maybe it wouldn't be as bad as I thought. But that would be a punishment for me. You mentioned it with your bad beats earlier. Have either one of you ever hit a buzzer beater to win a basketball game?
I hit a buzzer beater. It was not to win a game, but I was in 8th grade. We were playing in a varsity tournament. We were getting smoked by the hosting team of the tournament, so obviously they were anticipated to win. But I was in 8th grade. This guy missed a 3-pointer. I got the rebound. Everybody was yelling at me to pass, and I said, "No, this is my time to shine." And I did a one-handed floater type-esque shot from just inside the half-court line, and it went in, and everybody went crazy, and we lost by 21 points.
The last organized basketball I played was in 7th grade. And I scored, I think, 2 points on the season. And the crowd went wild when I scored. That was the kind of player I was.
Oh.
So,
No. My storied playing career, West Cheatham Elementary. There's probably a picture you can find of me from my West Cheatham days. I got a rebound putback. I think it was in Ashland City, Tennessee. Rebound putback at the buzzer to win. Nice. Man, I was just on a high riding back to my grandparents' house. Felt like I was the king of the world.
Here's a text off the personal line. I destroyed a light in Slayton trying to make a full court shot while we were winning. Postponed the game by the 20 minutes. The next game by 20 minutes.
and everybody hated you. All the parents show up, and they're sitting there like, this game's not over yet? Really? Was it a JV game? That would have made it even worse. Trust me.
Yeah, he didn't.
Didn't clarify.
He didn't clarify.
All right. If you had $1 billion, shout out to the person that provided this. So money wasn't an issue. What mundane daily item would you obviously just buy and not reuse? Use it, throw it out.
Yeah, socks for me. The feeling of a fresh pair of socks that have never been worn. They're crisp. They're flat, ironed. I would buy socks every week, and then just wash them and, I don't know, give them to the local shelter as freshly used.
Yeah.
Lightly used.
One-time used
but
socks.
If I had one-time used socks, that would be awesome.
Lucas?
Mine's kind of the same route. I would go with an undershirt. Just a basic white tee undershirt, and then just have that constantly on repeat. I enjoy wearing those from time to time.
Rob Dyrdek, I remember in either Robin Big or Fantasy Factory, like his whole closet was just like DC shirts that he would just go in and break out of the plastic and put on.
Just one time?
I'm guess he wore them pretty often, but he just had because he's like sponsored by him.
Yeah. I was going to go white undershirt, but underwear.
Yeah.
You can test out a bunch of different types. Just see which one. Obviously, I'm a creature of habit, as we've figured out here. So once I find one, I would just go through that over and over again. Less stuff to wash.
Yeah, I
don't think you're going to be able to do the once used, give to the local shelter with
on the underwear.
Though. Yeah, probably pass on that.
Yeah, probably not as. I'm sure they take anything you give them, but
yeah, I wouldn't go that.
You're washing them.
No, that was the whole point. I wouldn't wash them.
Well, before you gave them away, I think you should.
Well, why would I even? I would if I was washing them.
If you had $1 billion, somebody else would be washing them, David. You wouldn't be doing it.
That's true. I would pay somebody to take care of that.
The texter said it was 8th grade, so it probably delayed the JV game or something. Oh, that is epic. That is epic. Hour number 3 coming up. So much more to talk about. You can give us some Bullfighter punishments. We'll spin that wheel at 11:30. 100.7 The Score is the end of the bench.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It is the end of the bench. David Collier.
I am here.
We've got some punishments for non-bullfighter punishment wheels that I'm very excited for. We added the name 400 X players or spin again. I like that one.
Yeah.
We need more Lucas. The Joe Burrow blonde buzz for Lucas in there, if he ever loses. But by the end of this segment, we'll spin the wheel for Bullfighter. We discussed kind of some final thoughts on the Kansas State game for Texas Tech. But I do want to kind of look forward as well. And kind of do the same moratorium for the Iowa State game for the Lady Raiders. But I've got Texas Tech winning the next 4. It seemed like you maybe disagreed a little bit, or at least don't think as likely as I do. What would you say would be a good record in the next 4 games?
3-1. Yeah. I would be.
So it's just the Arizona game?
Yeah, it's just the Arizona game. Again, I said this before the Iowa State game, and I realized that went to overtime. But my argument there was I don't think you can get significantly better at defense a week and a half after Grant McCasland said you're not a good defensive team, right? And I think that only magnified it even more when he had to call 3 timeouts to set the defense because I don't want to say doesn't trust them, but you know what I'm getting at there.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure they know what the game plan is, and I know that a lot of coaches do that, but I just think doing it 3 times when the other team didn't have timeout only backs up my argument that maybe the defense isn't as fixed as we would hope it would be. Now you get an Arizona team that is on an 8-game winning streak. 3 of their last 4 games have been wins against ranked teams, albeit maybe the bottom half of the Big 12 ranked teams. But when they beat Cincinnati, Cincinnati was ranked. So that's my concern. And it's not like, it's the first time Arizona is playing. I mean, Grant McCasland said that he talks to Coach Floyd on a daily basis. So it's not like it's gonna be a coaching staff from Arizona that's going to come in here, and I'm not going to say not prepared, but they know what they're getting with a Grant McCasland basketball team. He has that respect for what Grant McCasland can do. So it's not like they're going to come in here thinking, oh, we've won 8 in a row or 9 in a row or whatever. This is just another win on the schedule. Not that I think that is the way that some college basketball, but some of them do, right? I mean, you can only hear the I've got, nobody respects this team more than me type stuff over and over again where, okay, let's pump the brakes. You're playing fill in the blank, Arkansas Pine Bluff. You probably know you're going to win that game. But I just think that that's going to be a basketball team that's going to come in here more prepared than most for what Grant McCasland and the Red Raiders are going to do. So that's the only reasoning there. And I'm totally fine with being proven wrong. But until that happens, I'm probably, if you've got a basketball team like them coming in here, I'm going to pick them to win that basketball game until proven wrong. And that's not to say I don't think you can't win the basketball game.
All right. And then as far as Lady Raiders go, I think you've played 3 of the top 5 or 6 teams in the last 3 in the Big 12.
Yes.
Certainly maybe West Virginia and TCU, though West Virginia kind of had a
hiccup,
weird outing. Hiccup there in the last game yesterday. But I think you've gone through a pretty tough stretch here for the Lady Raiders. They're 1-5. They're not going to get back to 500 in my opinion. And I don't think that's like something outrageous here. Can they win 5 of the next 12?
So the next 5, let's go through just the next, let's see. They've got BYU, Houston, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Colorado.
I guess 14. 5 of the next 14.
Yeah.
You have,
can they win 5 of the next 14?
Can they win 5 more games this year? So that's the rest of their Big 12 games. And they've got Houston again. You're going to have to punch up because I think you're one of the bottom 2 or 3 teams, but
5 might be.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. They've had stretches in games. They've had competitive stretches where they look like they belong on the floor with some of these top teams. And they've had stretches where they don't look like they belong on the floor. They've had full games they don't look like they belong. But if Jasmine Shavers and Bailey Maupin can get on the same page here offensively and both score 20 in a game, I think you can compete.
Well, losing Jordan Merritt certainly doesn't help. I mean, she started 11 games. She'd played in 17. And I'm guessing part of the reason for not starting all of those games were, dealing with health issues to some extent with some of that. To lose her leadership, to lose her size, and then you plug in Jalen Bristow into the starting lineup the last 2 games. Now, this could have been a situation against Iowa State. She only played 9 minutes in that game. She was going back to take on her former team. Maybe she just wasn't ready for that. I don't think she got injured. I don't remember hearing that, but to only play 9 minutes after getting put in the starting lineup, coming off of a season-high 33 minutes, that's somebody that you're going to need to lean on moving forward to eat up some minutes that are lost from Jordan Merritt having to medically retire. I haven't seen a reason why they can consistently score on the offensive end with more than just one person that you mentioned just a moment ago. And that's kind of the concerning part as well. And then you've got like Jada Wynn, who started the season as somebody that played a lot. She had to play last night a lot more. She's kind of disappeared as somebody that used to be kind of a perimeter threat that could hit three-pointers.
One, can Maya Pete and Sarah Sanogo compete with the Audie Crooks and the players like TCU has?
Well, you're going to get in foul trouble.
Kansas State has.
And I don't. Unfortunately, just looking at it, I don't. Probably see 5 the rest of the way. I certainly.
All right. Speaking of 5, I have 5 punishments here for Bullfighter to spin the wheel with. Tell me if I missed something. Get wet.
Yep.
Sneed superfan.
That's my choice.
I've got a call-in karaoke with Collier's choice of song.
Ooh.
I just added that one.
Okay.
The habanero. And then since Bullfighter said he can't read, listen to the Inner Excellence audiobook.
Oh. Does he have to give like a report of some sort?
We need a book report. Yeah. Written or a call-in. Those 5? We good with those 5? Lucas, did I miss something?
Nope. Those sound good to me.
All right, Bullfighter, here it is. We'll spin the wheel. It is the Sneed Superfan. So we'll need to get a refereeing schedule, an officiating schedule from Chris Sneed. And we will need to get an official's shirt.
I have a referee shirt in my closet. I don't know if it'll fit Bullfighter, but
we can get that to Bullfighter. Even funnier if it doesn't fit.
Yeah, even better.
One way or the other. I am very excited about this one. We'll need some video evidence probably, but we'll get you some chance to say, and Chris Sneed can report for sure on if the punishment was followed through.
And if I have time, I might. Hey, you guys need some help? Shoot some high school basketball?
There you go.
Might find my way out there with a camera.
There it is. I might want to watch some high school basketball that night as well. Okay, I'm very excited for this. Good submission. Bobby Hot Dogs teamwork made the dream work there. All right, Ask the Benchwarmers. Get them in the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll get to those after this on 100.7 The Score at the end of the bench.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score is the end of the bench. Oh, Bullfighter says Sneed is going to love this for all the hell I put him through beating him in the foul pole race. Oh yeah, this is good. You can wait until the regional tournament. Sneed is usually involved in those. That could be epic with plenty of media. Yeah, that is very good. Is poster board allowed at high school games? Chris Sneed is my hero sign would be amazing.
I feel the need for Sneed.
The need for Sneed. Yeah, we could, just thinking about making this even better, we could make signs and give them to Bullfighter.
Yes, and he doesn't know what they are. He has to just unroll them and hold them up.
Yeah, he never gets to see the front. He's just holding up random signs. Zebras are my favorite animal. Interesting. You can ask your questions now. Benchwarmers, what do you think of the Victory Plus app? Will it be good to watch Rangers games this season? So early in the Stars season, I watched Victory Plus. I watched some of a Stars game. It seems like a fine product, but it's free for the Stars games. What would the difference be paying $100? If me and thousands of my friends are watching at the same time, are we going to have issues? Is it robust enough? Those are questions I will not be able to answer until it happens. Do I like that the Rangers are going to have a Rangers-sponsored broadcast where it will never be blacked out and be available wherever? Yes.
Yes.
I like that.
Do I like that Rob's already said he's basically going to buy it and we can just mooch off of him for free? Quite possibly.
I will certainly share that with you. Can Bullfighter rush the court after the game and do a whistle swap with Snead? I don't know. Those officials are off the court pretty quick, so you'd have to maybe wait in the tunnel for them.
History shows that Bullfighter is faster than Snead,
That's
so
true.
you could catch him.
That's true. You can catch up with them. But yeah, I like that the Rangers said this is the first step. I think they're working on a deal to get some local television involved, and I think Lubbock would be a market that they would try to put that in. And again, I like the radio broadcast.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that because it's involved here. Like, oh yeah, by the way, you can listen to it on the radio. I like Eric Nadell. I like Hicksey. I like Jared Sandler. They do a really good job. I sometimes prefer that over. Well, this last year wasn't as bad from the opportunity I did get to watch. I did not like Nowitzki.
C.J. Nikowski.
Nikowski. Yeah. He made games watching frustrating.
I didn't mind him. I enjoyed him more than David Murphy.
You didn't like David Murphy? Was it the
really.
lisp?
I don't know. I just didn't like him.
I
don't mind him. But
what do you think about Dave Raymond and
Valley?
Derek Holland.
I wouldn't mind Derek Holland. I don't think.
Apparently Derek Holland's in the mix.
It might be. I like him more than I can't remember Valley's last name, but he was an old Mariners catcher. He seemed too intense for me. Yeah,
and David Murphy is a little bit pale, vanilla.
Yeah, he's very vanilla.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, let's.
I think Derek Holland
wake up
would
a little bit here, buddy.
As long as he's not going like
if we're doing Dumb and Dumber quotes,
shtick the entire time. But
if he's doing Harry Carey every third inning.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of excited for that potential of that, just to see what it would be like.
This texter says, I get the games on the FanDuel network, Spurs, Mavs, and Stars. Will they carry the Rangers there too? It's a great question. Again, I think right now they're on the Varsity app. But I think they're working toward, having those other options. I don't think they're just going to have one option to watch games. But I do not know the answer to that yet. Again, this was announced, an hour ago? And that's just the first step. Quinn Ewers to the NFL. David Collier. Best landing spot for Quinn Ewers?
Somewhere where he's not playing next year. I think the easiest best landing spots are places like Kansas City. Maybe the Rams.
The Rams is a great spot for a young quarterback.
I think that would be a great for anybody.
That's a year or two to learn under Matt Stafford and then potentially be the next guy.
And get to work with Sean McVay.
Yeah, certainly.
Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. He works wonders with quarterbacks too. I think it's one of those guys, it's got to be one of those quarterback whisperers because
Are they going to pay Brock Purdy $60 million?
I hope not. I mean, you're the big Iowa State guy.
What would you pay? You always do this to me.
You are.
I picked him to win the conference. I didn't
pick
Brock Purdy to win the conference.
You have a bit based solely on their head coach, so I don't want to hear it.
Leaving.
Because you want him to leave because you love him so much. He's so good.
No.
How much? What were you going to say? How much would you pay Brock Purdy?
How much would you pay Brock Purdy?
I wouldn't pay him that much. It's the same thing with Kirk Cousins. It's the same thing with Sam Darnold. I'm not paying Sam Darnold.
I'm getting the next guy. If I can do it with Brock Purdy, I can do it with the next
guy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just get the next guy. I mean, you can find somebody that is a backup right now, I think, in the NFL and put him in there and probably do the same thing as Brock Purdy.
Or another rookie.
Yeah, you can go
draft
that
the next
route
guy.
if you want to start over again. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan wants to go that route.
I think if you're trying to spend money on everybody else, you got to get a rookie contract at quarterback.
I'm not paying Brock Purdy. He can go elsewhere, and him and Sam Darnold can fight it out for the team that's dumb enough to pay them all that money.
Apparently, one of us, or probably me, said the Varsity app. It's the Victory Plus app. Thank you, Bullfighter. Shanahan did wonders with Trey Lance. Trey Lance started, 3 games and then broke his ankle?
He got hurt, yeah. That's just proof that he knew that wasn't going to work, and he found somebody to trade for him.
Brock should get aid like Baker, or in that realm, paid. Yeah. I mean, I think... Here's what I know. I know Brock Purdy's next. And generally that means next largest, right? Because that's just the market.
The way it, yeah.
But eventually one of these franchises is going to say, look, you're this. We understand you're this. You've done this for us. But, and I think the 49ers are in a special circumstance here. Without all of our stars around you, you were not good this year. And if we pay you $60 million, you will not have a bunch of stars around you.
Yeah.
You'll have 1 or 2 stars around you. And you're a guy that needs 5 stars around you. So let's pay you 45. I think that's fair. 40.
40, yeah.
And
I think that's what Baker got, right? 40.
And make hay in the rest of it.
Let's be honest. I mean, he should probably be happy with 40, right? Now he's got to make up for. He's got to make up for. Well, I know, but he's got to make up for being Mr. Irrelevant, I guess, with that first contract. But
I mean, to be Mr. Irrelevant, to play in a Super Bowl, to get a second contract. I mean, those are all things that Mr. Irrelevants generally do not do.
Yeah.
Can you name another Mr. Irrelevant? I've got one in my bag.
Not off the top of my head, no.
Wasn't Chad Kelly Mr. Irrelevant to the Broncos a few years before?
Quite possibly. That does sound somewhat familiar.
Ole Miss legend Chad Kelly.
I can't even tell you who the original Mr. Irrelevant was. That's unfortunate. Do some studying just in case I get on the tiny wheel and spin that.
We'll do Friday pop quiz, Mr. Irrelevance. It'll just be a quiz, though, because I've already popped it. 100.7 The Score. It's the end of the bench. The bottom line up next. Stick around. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 107thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.